It's about the albums, and the album we're talking about today is the Weird Album, which isn't that every album really? But I keep forgetting to say this up front. But if you want to just skip to certain bits about the songs, because I'm talking about all the songs on the album, there's in the description you can find timestamps to each song. Also, there will be links to the full songs in there and a link to the full album in the description as well. So you can check all that stuff out if you want some easy navigation tools. They are available in the description. I don't remember much about I don't remember a whole lot. There's kind of a weird timeline of just I'm just kind of recording stuff and doing stuff, and I think a lot of this for these next few albums, basically just to get this out of the way, because it was the thing, is that girlfriend I had at the time basically found out a bit too late that she had a kidney disease and probably wasn't gonna make it. And spoiler, she didn't. So a lot of this, these next albums and whatnot, are kind of trying to work around, dealing with that, myself, and then, just the toll that's taking, to have that kind of happen in a relationship like that. And still trying to make music and use that as a way to distract me, but also help me cope with that and things. So I think there's also a shift on this album that's kind of I'm making things with a slightly different instruments going on here, and a bit of a different feel and sound going on. But I think that's also why there's basically there's kind of a gap between this for a few months or whatever between recording. Part of it was some of that stuff and dealing with it. And a lot of the stuff I think going forward is going to be, dealing with some of that stuff as a backdrop and not necessarily up in the forefront of everything. So just thought I would throw that out there so we got that established for the series watchers. Also for the series watchers button, still, it's still there. So let's, without further ado, let's check out just how weird the Weird Album is. The Weird Album kicks off the Weird Album. It's one of those songs where, you get the title track out of the way. It's kind of a mix of saying some stuff, trying to kind of ad-lib, just freeball the lyrics, and then also, it's a kind of mix between doing that and also just making sounds that rhyme. So some of it's almost not even words, and I just kind of am doing guesswork later of that's kind of close to this kind of word. It doesn't have to make sense because it's weird, right? The album's weird. So let's set the tone. I really like the goofy bass line and guitar part. And I don't know, throwing the horn on it is kind of silly, I guess, too. Something about it just, I don't know, it has this kind of quirky nature to it. I like the cool, the telephone solo bit too. I think that's really funny because what am I gonna do with a telephone tone on the keyboard anyway, right? So I think that's fun. And I think it's got a cool, jumpy, it's a cool way to open an album. I think it's a good way to get that energy flowing and whatnot. And I don't know. I thought it was good. That's also it's just welcome to the Weird Album. And then it's the phone sound ring from it. And right? It's gonna be, it's you're gonna be here, right? I don't know. I think it's a good way to set the tone for things to come on the album, and that is the Weird Album, not the song, the album. I mean, not the the song, not the song, not the album. What did I say? I mean, it is on the album, so it is part of the album, but it is the song, totally the song, and only 17th of the album, and that's only if you're counting by numbers. Counting by time, I'd have to math that out, and that's a lot of mathing to do for someone who's not, a proficient mather, such as myself. Hello, Crimson Gods has another reference to gods. I mentioned that a lot for an atheist, right? I think I mention that all the time, but just weird how that comes up so much, huh? It wasn't really about anything specific either. This idea of like he's Crimson God. Crimson, I thought that's like red, right? Like crimson red. Just the idea of like say hello to them. It doesn't really mean a whole lot because I just kind of threw words together that rhymed. I thought it would be kind of like catchy. And I kind of like the music of it. I guess. I like that the solo is very clearly like I made a solo. Like those are the notes I wanted to play on that. And while it doesn't go anywhere crazy, it's at least something that's like structured. As opposed to here's time for a solo and I just fuck around and just whatever comes out, that's the solo now. So that's kind of nice. Other than that, I guess I just also kind of like the weird effect that I did of I just recorded it like normal and then I layered it very specifically so it was like really close but not exactly layered with itself. So it's off a little bit and it creates that like kind of effect on it. You can hear like I don't know what you would call that either. But like you can kind of hear there's two of like the exact same things like slightly off. I kind of like that. Also, vaguely the sound of this, maybe it's because like the bass a little bit, like some of the bass, like kind of guitar-y tones and stuff. I don't know. It gives me a hint of Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness on Nintendo 64. Something about that music just kind of makes me think of like something out of that game for some reason. So there's that, and I also like the thing at the end. Just like it ends, and then I'm like. Hello, Crimson Gods. Like, almost like I'm almost like bored and like it's kind of like a formality, like I'm supposed to say hello to them or something. I don't know. It was just a goofy thing, and this is definitely an album where I was from what I'm remembering and seeing so far, I think this is maybe going to be a lot of me just being like, hey, I'm making weird stuff. And that's cool. Like, I don't know, I'm just kind of trying to make it sound cool and work with what flows. And that could make for something interesting. We shall continue to see here. We'll see with our mind's ear, as they say. Bloody Dead is a song about a psychopathic killer, basically. He's just crazy, kind of talking to himself. He's hearing voices in his head. They're telling him that he has to keep these axes in the closet, and he doesn't really understand why. But he keeps killing people, and so he has to keep, like, like putting the axes back in the closet, and like they're by all his clothes and stuff and whatever, and like also like how's he gonna explain all the blood on all the clothes because he keeps putting the murder weapons near the clothes, and like just talking to himself. Sometimes it's out loud, like louder, sometimes more whispering, and it's just like sounds like very like nervous and scared of things, like he has to do these things because there's like some kind of pressure from voices to telling him to do so. Really creepy song idea, with weird music going on in the background, and it also works with like the creepy thing because it's not like cliche like scary. It's like it is just kind of creepy, and unsettling, and the solo riff thing, like that like instrument there, whatever the fuck that was cool. So, and I kind of like it for the chorusy bits or whatever. It's like just saying bloody dead, like saying those words in whatever order, and like just repeating them over and over with two different layers of me saying them, and like saying kind of slightly differently saying them. So like I don't know, I think it came off pretty well for what I was trying to do with it. And it's not about me, so don't investigate that. I mean, you can, I guess. I shouldn't say that. Investigate that if you have to, but you won't really find anything. Things you'll find in my closet are not, well, they're not like murder things. They're just like, sad things. Like, man, like that's. I mean, it's not like a lot. It's not like a lot of porn DVDs and sex toys, but it's not none of those, right? So like. all ready to go is another one that's not really about much of anything. It's just like, oh yeah, all of us are all ready. We're ready already. We are prepared to leave now. All the preparations are done, or whatever. Yeah, not a whole lot of thought behind that. Just like all ready to go. It's kind of like that idea of like repeating that and then like making it the different like alreadys, like already and then already. You can see the way it's written. You understand how words work. So that's the idea for the song. Really, there's not a whole lot of thought to it. And then just like doing like other words that kind of like go that are like are simple to like throw together and have like a similar thing going with them for the verse parts. And I like that I have like it sounds like there's more voices actually, but it's only I think the 2 tracks, and the one they both have the same kind of like effect on the voice, with like an echoey effect. So it sounds like there's more, like just a lower one and a higher voice. And I do like the tone, like the little like solo-y bit near the end there, and I like that it kind of ends on like the doo-doo, like that kind of weird thing is kind of that like echoes across. Actually maybe it's just an echo thing I did on both the tracks. I don't know, I don't remember actually. Maybe it was all one thing, that the low voice and high voices had an echo effect. But you will notice that it's a little bit like, you can hear the audio quality isn't amazing. It's too loud when I put it into the movie maker thing, whatever, when I did that. So it's like, you can't, it just gets too loud and you can hear it clipping a bunch. And so it sounds kind of like crap there. But the song itself is still okay. It's just, I didn't have the best equipment or the best software. I now have slightly better equipment and roughly the same software. I guess I have Audacity now, but, you know. As long as we're talking about, you know, technical shit. I think originally when I started recording this, I was going to do it, and I actually moved the camera down a little bit, and like the stand thing slid, so I slid it back up, and I think I put it up too far. So now I feel like, maybe it's fine, but it just feels like there's a lot of like, you know, negative space above me now. Making me feel, but I am short, I guess, so it should make me feel short. It should be more accurate to do it that way. At least you can't see my, you know, down here. Not because I don't have pants, but it's actually a shame because, I mean, like, the pants change all the time, so, like, that's usually why this would be good, but, like, I have jeans on it. I look respectable. You know, it's like someone, if they didn't know who I was, they could possibly respect me. Staying alive, we're typing in 115, because baby, that's all you gotta do. 115 is, just me repeating the same thing over and over. 2 different tracks. There's no music behind them, no beats or anything. I just had this like thought in my head of like, oh yeah, I'll go like this. And so I recorded one track, and then I recorded the other track, completely separate, not like listening to the other reference or anything. And I was like, I'll just put them together and see what happens. And that's what we got. It was a weird. A weird idea for a song experiment of sorts, and kinds, and it's whatever, it's short, I guess, so that's not horrible, but it's maybe a bit long for doing that, and honestly, like, the thing was, like, the way I got, what is, like, 115? Is it, like, a phone number, like, something to do with that, or some kind of secret code or something? 115 is, at the time I was making, they were, like, these, like, this is microwavable omelets, and, that I had, and so, like, they were just, like, frozen, you would take them out, and you would microwave them, and you would put them in for 1 minute and 15 seconds, so I thought of the idea of, like, typing in 115, in the microwave. That's where I got that. And the only downside really to this experiment was that I didn't make it so that it lasted 1 minute and 15 seconds. That would have been very poetic of me to do, but it's only about 1 minute. So, I mean, that's really the only major flaw of this song. Otherwise, you know, masterpiece, untouchable. People eons from now will be looking at this and saying, I wonder what it sounds like. I'm only looking. I should listen to it. What are we doing now? Hey, what are we doing now? Fortune Fever may sound like it's about, you know, being greedy, really wanting a whole lot of money, having a fortune. But it's just another one where I'm just kind of making up words as I go. Some parts is very questionable if I'm even saying words. It also has a second layer of me singing, where I'm actually like, it's quieter and I'm like farther away from like the camera. So it's like, it makes it like different sound quality of me being like further away. So you only kind of hear that sometimes going through. So it's interesting. Again, another song experiment. It's kind of weird, but it's okay. I don't mind it. I don't really know what else to say, really. It's just kind of me going off, trying to say a bunch of stuff and making it stay in beat, and the talk singing thing, and it's whatever. It's the music part itself is okay, as well, and yeah, it's a song. I don't really know what you want from me here. There's nothing really amazing about this one. Nothing really interesting about this one. It's just kind of, other than, the experiment part of it, it's kind of just another song. So, boy. Brought to you by Sundrop. Not actually, please don't sue. Blinderage is kind of a play on the word blind rage. The words, I guess I should say. But I guess it's kind of be like you're going blinder, even more blind with rage, or or the rage is a blinder. I don't know. I don't really know. But the concept was, okay, so I'm just gonna have a bunch of layers of me being really mad. And so some of the layers are me just like kind of like doing complaining. Some of them are me doing more angry, yelling at stuff. Some of them are me just doing like, really pissed off, like grunts and sounds. And then like it kind of gets a little crazy with some of that stuff all there. Does that for a while. Then it gets to a point where I'm just like breathing really heavily, like being exhausted from being that mad. And all the different ways, and all those like layers. And then at the end, it's got the like insane laughter thing. I'm so fucking mad I've just gone crazy. And at the very end, it's got that like, lingering pieces. Just kind of like doing whatever for like a while. And then I walk up to the camera and it's like, it's enough of that shit. I just thought it was really funny to, I thought it was funny to be that mad, I guess. I don't know. It was interesting. It was a song experiment, and it's not a very good song, but it's not a very good song.
Life won't leave me alone. Life won't leave me alone. Life won't leave me alone. Life won't leave me alone.
Life Won't Leave Me Alone is a pretty personal one. Just kind of like the only line here that I think is kind of it is an embellishment. It's an exaggeration of things. I say, more friends in the ground. It's not like people were dying around me, or anything. It's just like I wasn't talking to a lot of people anymore. People weren't my friend anymore. That was happening a lot. So that was an exaggeratory line, but girlfriend was dying. Got really stressed out. I got kicked out of college because I wasn't going to classes. And just, I didn't have a job. I felt like I couldn't really do anything. So I was kind of, just kind of breaking down a lot. And I was in a much worse place than I am now. Like mentally. And it's, yeah, it was a real song of like I felt like like I was just like and granted, it's kind of a perspective thing. It's kind of like there's plenty of people who've had worse lives, harder lives, but it just kind of feels like it just kind of felt like life was picking on me a lot. I couldn't like do anything. And that's really what the song was. But it's still like a nice song. I like it. The singing is there, like the emotions there. The I actually had a music video for this one too. It was mostly just like going around like filming like different like just like close ups mostly of things around like I think there's different like shapes and patterns on them around like the house and like just kind of like fading those into one another. So it was like constantly like moving and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. Not a great time, but it's interesting to look back and be like, wow, I'm in a lot better of a headspace than I used to be. So that's cool. Also, it's I don't know, it's the music part I like that. I think the music of it was cool, and it's like the feeling, like the mood of like using the instruments I picked and like the flow of it, and it is a little bit different than what I did before, but I feel like I've done a number of songs that kind of sound, kind of this way that I kind of like that sound. So that's cool that I found that here. I don't know, a shift of my styles. Also, I'm just looking over here too. It looks okay now. Somehow every once in a while I'll hit something. Somehow it'll get changed, and so the setting, like sometimes my mic setting will be like way low and it won't be the full mic, like it was in the last clip. I don't know if you can tell if I fixed it well enough. So I had to kind of like boost the audio of the mic so it would be like roughly the same as the other clips because I didn't do it at full volume. I don't know what I'm accidentally doing to hit that somehow, but I think I'm maybe accidentally hitting it when I'm picking something and it's double clicking or something because I'm using the stupid mouse pad thing that's on the laptop. I don't have a mouse over here. There's not enough room to set it right now, so lots of fun behind the scenes stuff to tell you about. Also, I'm getting very distracted by the microphone shadow on my chest now, so that's fun. I should probably know how to set up a shot this deep into a series and someone who's been making videos on YouTube for 10 years, but the fact that I have a light for this is already new, so So how about fuck you? How about that? How about fuck you?
Dig in, dig out, dig up, dig down, dig it, dig it, dig it, dig it.
Porse Ehona is I guess about like excavation or mining or something, digging. I keep mentioning digging. I probably should have called it dig it. And I think the digging parts, it kind of vaguely for some of like the tones, and just very incredibly loosely reminded me of the game for NES, Digger T Rock. Not a very good game, but it had cool music, so it kind of reminded me somewhat of like not like the music in it necessarily, but like the tone, some of the tones in it a little bit. And yeah, it's kind of repeated that, and it's kind of like a video game, like rocky tunneling stage in a mine or something, or a cave, and those are kind of the inspirations for that. It's kind of a basic thing going along, just moving forward, and then I think the solo bit is cool too. I like that. That's an interesting like way to do it with like the drums, like the really loud synth, and then the singing over the last part of like the like doing that thing. I don't know. It has like some neat pieces to it, even if the song itself isn't like crazy impressive or anything. And the name, you're probably wondering like, why is it called Porse Ehona? Does that like mean something? And what that is a thing I do probably far too often, where I just flip letters in saying basically Horse Epona from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Your horse is called Epona. So I just switched those letters so it was Porse Ehona. And that's how you name a song when you don't know how to name songs, but you do know how to change letters in words. That's a good substitute for creativity. I guess. And that's Porse Ehona. The Cat is Down to 1 is an instrumental. So it just mostly sounds cool. I just kind of played stuff, then was overlapping more things over it. And I like the way it kind of flows with, like, you know, the tones aren't necessarily the best tones to go together, but they end up, like, forming an interesting sound to them. And, like, the way the kind of, like, string things go over, like, that really, like, choppy, you know, fake guitar thing. And like, the high, like, synth tone. Just, I don't know. I think it comes together interestingly with that, and something like the drums thrown in there. It's something that kind of, like, has this interesting build to it, and then it just kind of, I like that it does just kind of stop, because it feels like it's a prelude, it's like an introduction to something, and it's like, and it's like, then you're there. So, and it's not too long, so I think it's cool. But as far as the title goes, again, this is a trend. I think it's coming up more often now, where I have titles I don't really have a fuck all to do with the song, really. I didn't really have an idea in mind. I just thought that it sounded like a neat title. The idea that, you know, a cat has 9 lives, but now it's like, this is serious because it's down to its last life. The cat is down to 1.
Want what we want. Want what we want. Want what we want. Want what we want.
Want What We Want is kind of about, how do I even really put this? It's kind of just like about, the idea that even if things are maybe, like, bad for us or unhealthy for us, we can't help but still want them. Which can be, you know, it can be applied to some kind of addiction. It can be applied to, like, you know, like some kind of, like, drugs or something, some kind of substance. It can be applied to people or their relationships. It can be applied to a lot of things. Or just wanting things, you know, you can't have, but you can't help wanting them. You don't have, like, the control to change that. And so it's kind of nice with that open-endedness of it, to really just get down to that emotion and that feeling of just desiring something that way, in such a way that it's hopeless to try and not, because you can't help it. I thought that was just really, I just like the song a lot too. I think I hit it pretty good with, like, the 2 singing parts too, with, like, some, like, the weird, like, harmony things going on, and I like the instruments in it. The drum sounds are cool with it, and, like, the piano and, like, the bass is cool, and I don't know, and, like, the little string bits. I also kind of like the little touch at the end too, where it, like, ends off and finishes singing it, and then, like, music just kind of goes a little weird for, like, a sec, and I kind of have, like, those coughs in there. I just like how that's, like, I don't really know how to end songs very well, so I like there's just, like, a goofy, quick thing, just, like, it's not drawn out, it's not like a big, powerful end, it's not like an abrupt stop, it's just kind of, like, a little, like, oh geez, and it's like, that's it. I don't know. So it's one that I still like quite a bit. And I guess it can be a bit hit and miss on this album for some of these things too. So, like, this is definitely, if I'm gonna classify this as one of the 2, that's a hit. That one just about sunk my battleship with that. Have we had enough hits on here to sink a battleship? I'll get back to you on that. Surround. You can see the way I've done the title with the lowercase and capital stuff. Surround, basically you can see the word sound surrounds the title. It's like surround sound is kind of the idea for the characterization of the title. And it's like, hear the sound, it's all around. And then basically it's just me, there's a lot of, like, noise happening, a lot of voices being like, oh, the sound, it's happening or whatever. And it was a short clip thing that I did, and it was like, basically I did the thing in Windows Movie Maker to make the different layers of that one thing, And I repeated that. I think it was like I repeated a number of times. I did like a higher version of it, like I did a speed up double, and I put a bunch of those up there. I put the slow down half thing, and I may have done a few. I don't know if I did just that or if I did like another slow down thing too. I did a number of like the speed up slow down things and just layered them so they would all fit evenly, mathematically laid out on top of each other. And it's just a lot of fucking noise. Again, a song experiment. It's not good, but it is. It is. And if that isn't good enough, then I don't know what even is. Love Dream. It's another song experiment. It's bad. It's just me repeating love and dream over and over in kind of long, breathy tones. I have kind of airy tones, on the keyboard for the instruments. And I was singing a lot of it into like this little sandwich bag to make it sound like weird and airy in there. To kind of, I guess I thought that would help the effect, but you just hear weird crinkling during it. So, not a very good one. Another just weird, dumb song experiment. I also, I'm unsure if the last thing recorded or not, because when I looked at my camera, it said that it was still recording. So I either missed the button to stop it, didn't even bother to hit that to stop it this time for the last clip, or it's also possible that like I hit record. I didn't actually hit record right away, and then I just hit that at the end when I went to stop it, and then I recorded nothing. I don't know. We'll have to see. It's going to be an interesting mess of whatever the fuck happened, but I'll do something with it in post. Instead of just re-recording it to be safe, I'll just do something with it in post, because it's easier for me to do with right now mentally after this fuck. So Love Dream. It's fuck.
Give up, let it go, get it out of your head. Give in, cause you know I'd rather have you dead.
Her Name Used to Be is about basically a dude that's like had a bad relationship and like broke up or something, and then he goes like fucking crazy, and it's like, you have to like get out of my life, you gotta get out of my head, like otherwise like I'm gonna go like fucking crazy. And then it's kind of implied that he is like threatening to like kill her or something. So it's a pretty insane concept for the song. Yeah. Also to note, that's not something I have thought of or done. Just want to throw that out there. You can go through my criminal record. I'm clean on that. I don't think I have anything on there other than. Could they put it? Oh, they wouldn't put it on that, would they? When you're in the no. I don't think going in this. I don't think going in the psych ward counts as a criminal thing. But I don't know. So yeah. I'm a criminal for threatening myself. That's Her Name Used to Be. The title implying that it's when her name used to be before she was killed. That's the crazy little song idea I did, and then it kind of just goes, and then it ends, and it's got a lot of energy to it. And I just didn't know where do you take that? What do you do with that? But it does sound like it kind of belongs in here with some of like the instrumentation and like the lots of stuff happening. I guess you could say the song concept is, I don't know, weird. You Will Be Missed is kind of a personal one, I guess, in the sense of like in general the song is just kind of about the idea that like someone is important to you and that like that this person is important, like it's sort of saying whoever it's like directed at, that like you're important and like we care about you and we're going to remember you. We're gonna still, you know, think about you and the things that you did for us, you know, even when you're dead and gone. And it's kind of a nice like, oh yeah, it's about kind of like honoring somebody's life. But I actually was really inspired to do this one because I was talking to someone. It was actually from doing ASMR stuff, and I had been talking to them from YouTube, and we actually started talking in other places then too, and became friends. And I really cared about them, and this was kind of like a feeling of like, yeah, I want to like put that out there, for kind of like showing like that I cared and that I would still care, and I do. I do. It's just that we don't talk anymore, and I'm guessing it was because of me and my personality, and that just wasn't gonna work well. I don't think there's any ill will there. It's just like it was clashing with them and their personal life, kind of. They didn't really want to talk to me anymore because it was just it was a bit too much, I guess, and that's fair. I'm both used to that and I understand that, so that makes sense, especially at the time. It makes sense. And I I don't know. I just kind of this nice thing, like inspired by them to be like, yeah, like I care or whatever. And I do still really like this song. This is another one where another big hit off the album. I really really like this one. I think it still holds up. I like the music of it and like that kind of like feel to that. And it's weird to have this kind of like happier kind of sounding song in here too. I don't know. It's very interesting to see this stuff show up on the album. So it's a lot of ways for me to say this. I like it because it means something to me. So I'm just not naming names because I don't think they post content anymore, or if they do, I don't know where they post it or under what name. So saying I don't think they post under the old handle anyway, so it won't matter. So I won't say, because if they're watching, they know who they are, but I know they aren't. I'm almost positive. Also, I apologize for I'm doing the thing that everyone is annoyed about all the time. I'm sorry for this thing if my recording is doing this or whatever, if you can hear that. But there's a train outside just now as I started to say this. Also, my stomach is starting to make noises because I'm getting hungry because I haven't eaten lunch. And recording these takes a while sometimes. So sorry if any of that picks up on the mic and stays. And if not, then pretend I didn't. Also, the floor is creaking under my foot. So this is just a whole orgy of sounds you don't want in your audio recording. Fuck. The song's still good though. Still like that.
This is what I am. I am only human.
I'm Only Human is just about me, sort of. Just yeah, like because some of the bits kind of get more about me, like I'm short. I'm short and I'm like fat and I'm stupid. I kind of throw hints of that in there, but like it's just this idea of like also connecting to simple things of like I'm eating and I'm sleeping and I need that to like survive. Like I'm human, you know, and that's I guess the idea of like I'm only human is that like I have limitations and like shortcomings, and the thing is like I'm human, but I'm only human, and that's all that I am. So it's kind of a weird, resigned, almost calming song. So I do like a lot of the tones in there. I really really like the cool like synth brass like tone in there going throughout it. Like that sounds really cool. The guitar is nice too. I don't know. It's got an interesting mood to it, and it's one where I guess it would have been a good end to the album, actually, just to kind of end on like a slower, like, you know, we started with a bang and now we're just kind of leaving with like, and that's it. That is all of the album, and you go to sleep after or something, right? It would be kind of a nice way to end it. But then there's this other song that I did after it, and well, you'll see, you'll hear, you'll know. Totally Weird is the final song on the album. And boy, it is a huge disaster of a song experiment. You see, it's, you know, it's, and when I say song experiment, you know, like that's like something like, what if we take the idea of what is a song and we just play around with that? What can we do that still will make a song, right? That's not the traditional format. I've likened this before to the song 12 Days of Christmas, where it's like they really wrote, you know, like the 12 things, but then they decided we'll do 1, and then we'll do 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, etc., etc. And that's a neat idea. In theory, that's cool, right? That's like, oh, that's cool. That's a different take on how to make a song. And that's interesting. That doesn't make 12 Days of Christmas a good song. You just want to start at 12 and just get it over with, because it's so fucking repetitious to hear the same shit over and 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 over. Did I say 12 of them yet? Over again. So, Totally Weird is in a similar vein as that. It's not doing that thing, but it's taking every song on the album and just overlapping all of them. I try to get it as centered as possible so that it would be like it would run, and that stuff would slowly filter in as they got near, you know, the shorter songs are closer to the middle, and then it kind of filters back out again. And just, holy fuck. It's just noise and sound, and it's like you can maybe pick out bits and pieces as you're listening, and it's like, oh, that's this that was this song. That was kind of a piece in that song I'm kind of hearing now. Just a lot of sound and distortion and clipping, and just, it's awful. It's awful. And bad, but mostly awful. And like, and there's like the "we're all weird" thing I say in the beginning, and at the end I just have a bunch of those, and like I'm like layered in different like timings, and like I'm echoing them and then repeating that over and over, and it's just bizarre and strange, and that's the only like unique thing about the song, and it's bad. But that is all of it. It's over with. We don't have to listen to anything else on this fucking thing. So there's some good songs in here. There's some okay stuff. Lots of song experiments that they're experiments. Song experiments. Half an album, half song experiments, basically. And if you have any other questions about this, you know, go ahead, leave those in the comments. I'll try to answer any of those. Get all the links and stuff for timestamps, full song links, full album link. That's going to be in the description. And if you stuck through this one with me, thanks. It's been a time. I've been constantly frustrated with the cord on this thing, and then the light shadow on my chest with this. I'm just now getting paranoid about it. Not paranoid, annoyed with it. Unilaterally annoyed. And I'm also, is paranoid, is that when you're annoyed twice simultaneously? I don't know. And then like the camera being up a little high and weird angle I didn't really like. But I recorded a few clips before I realized it. And then the microphone not working on the one clip. I've noticed that if I go, because I'm using that pad thing, whatever, the mouse touch pad thing, you know what I'm talking about, on laptops. If I go and I have to do that and like to tap it to click, and sometimes I'm doing that, it just moves the mouse and it thinks I'm just doing a moving motion because I don't tap it directly enough. So then it thinks I'm doing that, and it's like, oh, you meant to move the mouse and not hit it. So I think that's what's happening in some of the videos when I do this and I don't record a thing. It's because I did that and looked away without really confirming that it did in fact click and started recording. So I just have to be watching that. I have to watch when the microphone thing tries to fuck me with the volume, and I have to watch, you know, just general like framing, lighting, all that stuff. It's a lot to watch when you're also trying to think of things to say and record and then remember those things, and then, but that's another one of these for you. The button's still on. Just whatever. It's cool you're watching. Go do whatever with the interaction stuff, or don't. That's your call. And I'll maybe see you in the next one. Maybe not. That's, again, your call. It's all, power is in your hands. You have the power. You are He-Man in this situation. And on that note, I'm just gonna stand here for a little bit, and then it's gonna fade out. So. Now the artwork for Totally Weird, for the Weird album. God, what a great start. I should have started over, but you know what? I won't. Fuck it. Like, does anyone watch this far anyway? No? So it's got the, actually, I don't think I even remastered this at all. I don't think I did anything to it. Like, I'm pretty sure I didn't. Because, I had the basic art for the Weird album, but then I kept putting weird video effects on the album art originally, to make it look different ways. And this was, I don't even remember what this one was called. In Movie Maker, it made it look really weird like this, because they were just like basic lines, and this made it look like there were like way more lines and stuff around here. Like the, I can't remember which effect or filter or whatever that was called in there, but it just looks so strange. And I chose that one from all the videos of like the Weird album artwork to screenshot, because it looked like the most interesting of them. And it's like, this will just be the album art now, so it looks more interesting this way. I did not draw it this way. It just kind of came out this way, and that's really all the tidbits about that. I just wanted it to look strange. There was like a lot of like lines, and it was done really basically black and white. Just, I don't know. I was really tapped out creatively for a lot of things, as the album may have indicated, but that's the artwork anyway, and I do kind of like that I made the, stuff all like different directions and whatever. It's kind of neat, I suppose. But that's the artwork for you. So it's at least less weird than the album itself. I guess I'll give it that credit. Credit.
Yeah.